Weekly News. Weekly News.
Education,
Environment,
politics,
economics,
agriculture,
culture. Weekly News, a round-wrap of national news of the week on Renouveau TV every Saturday.
Weekly News, the news to English speakers.
Fans of Renouveau TV, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Weekly News. This Wednesday, May 2nd, 2017, in the afternoon, a convoy of the Malian army fell in an ambush between Nampala and Jabali. According to the Army Public Relations Directorate, the ambush will have cost the lives of 9 Malian soldiers and injured 5 others and 2 vehicles washed away. The attack has not yet been claimed, although it is believed to be the work of Nusrat al-Islam wal-Muslim, the terrorist alliance commanded by the Malian jihadist Yad Agali, said the security source.
Weekly News. Weekly News.
Mali, like the international community, celebrated this week the World Press Freedom Day. As usual, several activities were on the program, such as conferences, training, and sharing of experience with the generation. It was on the 4th of May at the Maison de la Presse under the presidency of the Minister of the Digital Economy and Communication, Mr. Aruna Modibo Toure, in the presence of the sponsor of the edition, Mrs. Aissata Sise, and several press leaders and many journalists that began the day. The opening ceremony was marked by 2 speeches delivered respectively by the Minister Toure and the Godmother Aissata Sise. The minister praised the role played by journalists in getting our country out of the crisis through their broadcasts and their articles. Journalists put Mali above everything during the crisis, said the Minister Toure. Then, he underlined the 2 major challenges faced by the press, including the implementation of the new law on press offenses. As for the Godmother, she began by thanking the Maison de la Presse for the choice of her as the Godmother of this edition. After these speeches, the journalist Adam Cham presented the theme of the day, Journalists and Media Men, Duties and Responsibilities in Time of Crisis. In his presentation, he spoke about 2 essential elements, the role and place of the journalist in society and the role and responsibilities of the journalist in time of crisis. Remember that World Press Freedom Day was established by the General Assembly of the United Nations in December 1993 after the Seminar for the Development of the Independent and Pluralistic African Press.
Weekly News. Weekly News.
Now let's listen some journalists about freedom of press in Mali.
Journalism in Mali, I think it needs to be improved because what we saw is that most journalists in Mali, they have no formal training. Anyone can become a journalist in Mali, which is not a bad thing, but I think we need to, to emphasize on the training aspect of it. I think the government should, start, to train more journalists. For example, we have like hundreds of, young people trying, to become journalists. I think this is an opportunity, to identify them and then, find training opportunities, training programs. I know the U.S. Embassy is doing a lot about that, but, I think the Malian government should do something as well.
We do need to have more freedom. But Malian journalists are more than free sometimes. And sometimes when people talk, when journalists talk, they really need to know where their freedom ends. This is also important because freedom is not like in one sense. It's important to have freedom in the 2 senses, like from journalists to people and from people to journalists.
I think freedom of journalism is not really respected, highly respected here in Mali because people don't understand exactly what the journalism is about. The quality is really poor. We have to say that because a lot of guys come in journalism because they cannot find another job elsewhere. You may meet people, you may meet some, I'm a journalist, I understand, it's not like I'm talking to others, I'm talking about myself. When I started as a journalist about 11 years ago, I was focusing how to improve myself, how to learn from the biggest journalists working ever. Journalists themselves must understand you don't need sometimes to be part of an institute, but you have to build yourself. Today you have on internet courses from everywhere. BBC Academy is online. You don't need to be in England to learn more from the experiences of a journalist. So they have to build themselves to become more professional.
Weekly News. Weekly News.
The President of the Republic, Ibrahim Bakar Keita, launched on Wednesday, May 4, the construction and asphalting of the Bankoni Jalakoroji Road Safo Dabanani Nosambugu. With a length of 56 kilometers, this stretch will cost about 21 million CFA francs and for a lead time of 15 months. This project is part of the realization of the will of the President of the Republic to carry out development projects for the benefit of the people and create jobs for young people, as well as in the development policies and strategies of the country, including the strategic framework for the economic recovery and sustainable development of Mali. The overall objective of the project is to alleviate the difficulties of traffic on the road and to contribute, thanks to the mobility of economic agents, to the economic and social development of the country. The project also aims to link National Road 3 with National Road 27 and the localities of Bankoni, Jalakoroji, Safo, Dabani, and Sambugu by an adequate and permanent connection. It will also facilitate the flow of agricultural produce in the area, improve the quality and living environment of the population, and reduce traffic congestion within the city of Bamako. The Minister of Equipment and Opening Up cited some achievement in the construction and asphalting across the country.
Weekly News. Weekly News.
The judicial restriction that struck Mohamed Yusuf Bachili, called Rasbach, has been lifted, and therefore he can speak in the media. This information has been given during the press conference on Monday, May 1, 2017 at the Maison de la Presse. Our Kulbali for the details.
Monday, 1st May 2017, Mohamed Isufi Bachili alias Rasbach's lawyers were faced to the press to explain the changes in the case between Rasbach and the Crown lately. According to them, the judicial restriction that struck Rasbach is lifted and therefore he can speak in the media. But on the other hand, they reported that Rasbach and Banjogu Dumia, a preacher, are being prosecuted by the Correctional Chamber of Bamako Municipal Court for act of incitement of disobedience of the military troops.
Weekly News. Weekly News.
The Embassy of the United States of America received on Friday, 5th May, beneficiaries of the Young African Leader Initiative program. It was an opportunity for the Ambassador Paul Fomsibi to congratulate the winners of the program and invite them to put to the benefit of Mali skills they are going to experience from the United States of America. The departure of these winners is planned for the 15th of June. There are 10 young Malian leaders, including 6 men and 4 women, to be selected this year for the yearly program, a program initiated by the former President Barack Obama with the aim of training young African leaders for 6 months in the United States of America in various fields.
Where we select YALI fellows who will go to the United States and tour about 10 universities. There's a training program involved. This is a program that was started by President Obama, and it's really a phenomenal program, and it develops leadership. And so all of these individuals will come back to Mali and they'll have enhanced leadership skills. They will go to a U.S. university for a 6-week training program. It's really a great program. I actually, a few years ago, had the opportunity to attend a big conference of YALI with President Obama, so I was so pleased to see all of that. And of course, under President Trump, that will continue. Mostly leadership, business, things like that. There's various categories, but not all of them will study leadership directly, but they'll all become leaders or have the opportunity to do that. And the other great thing is they'll form lasting partnerships with U.S. universities, which they can then take forward, and more importantly, in some ways, they will meet a whole bunch of other people from across Africa, and they'll make these connections that they'll have for the rest of their lives. And I think that's really important for strengthening Africa. So we're so pleased to support this program.
As for the beneficiaries of the program, they are delighted with the choice made on them. The Minister of Youth and Construction, Citizen Amadou Koita, congratulated the beneficiaries before thanking the American government for this initiative. Since its initiation up to date, the yearly program has trained more than 30 young Malian leaders.
Weekly News. Weekly News.
Expected by Malian people since the dissolution of the Executive Committee of the Malian Football Federation, the lifting of the suspension of Mali has been decided last weekend by the supreme body of world football. Good news for our national teams that were previously prevented to international competitions. Our Globally report.
This good news awaited by lovers of football came on Saturday, 29 April, following a memorandum of understanding between the protagonists of the crisis, thanks to the mediation of Prime Minister Abdoulaye Idrissa Maïga, who recently received a delegation of martyrs supporting the dissolved executive committee headed by Boubacar Babajara to allow the lifting of the suspension taken by Football International Federation Association, and the other delegation of martyrs supporting the government decision and the Football Standardization Committee led by Sidi Diallo.
Weekly News. Weekly News.
Here takes an end this Weekly News. Thank you for your faithfulness to this program. Take care.